Today, we're going to continue exploring one of the funniest stories from Born a Crime by Trevor Noah. But even though this story is hilarious, it also reveals a lot about fear, belief, family, and what life was really like growing up in South Africa during and after apartheid. The story begins in complete chaos. One evening, Trevor Noah's family suddenly believes that something evil has entered their home. This wasn't just a creepy feeling or a strange noise in the night. To them, this was a full spiritual emergency. Everyone in the house is terrified because they discover something deeply disturbing, a mysterious poop sitting on a piece of newspaper inside the kitchen trash can. Nobody knows where it came from, and nobody can explain how it got there. Trevor's mother immediately jumps to one conclusion: witchcraft. In her mind, this couldn't possibly be a normal accident. Someone or something evil must have entered the house. Now, you might be wondering, why did they think it was a demon? To understand that, we need to look at beliefs in South Africa. Many people believed in both Christianity and traditional ideas like spirits, curses, and witchcraft. So when something strange happened, a demon didn't seem impossible to them. In South Africa, faith isn't just one thing or another. People can believe in God and go to church, but also believe in ancestors, spirits, and witchcraft at the same time. Some people also go to sangomas, who are traditional healers. So it's normal for someone to pray on Sunday, but still take curses and spells seriously in everyday life. These beliefs weren't just stories from the past. People actually took them seriously. In some cases, even modern legal systems have had to deal with witchcraft-related claims, like accusations of using magic to harm someone. It shows how real these beliefs felt in everyday life. So, when the family thought a demon was in the house, they didn't panic alone. The response came from the women in the family who took charge of the situation. In Trevor Noah's home, women were the leaders. During apartheid, many fathers were away, working in mines, in prison, or in exile. That meant women held families and communities together. This included his great-grandmother Coco, grandmother Frances, Aunt Sibonjali, and his mother Patricia. There's even a famous saying from the anti-apartheid struggle: when you strike a woman, you strike a rock. It means women were incredibly strong and were the backbone of their communities, even when society didn't always treat them that way. To understand the story even more, we also need to look at where it takes place, Soweto. It was a place full of hardship, but also hope, where people worked hard to build better lives despite difficult conditions. Soweto was created by the apartheid government to separate Black South Africans and keep control over where they lived. Life there was very hard. There were few paved roads, limited electricity, and poor sewage systems. But people didn't just accept it, they worked to improve their homes and communities anyway. Progress happened slowly. Families would build their houses little by little, sometimes over many years or even generations, turning small metal shacks into real homes brick by brick. And even though almost nobody owned a car, nearly every single house had a driveway. It was this physical manifestation of hope, a way of, as Noah says, willing the car to happen. They were literally building for a future they believed in, even if it seemed completely impossible at the time. But life still had serious challenges. One of them was outdoor toilets shared by several families. This becomes important because one day, a scared 5-year-old Trevor avoided the toilet because of flies in the rain and made a decision that caused the whole situation. That one small moment quickly turned into something much bigger. What started as a child's mistake turned into a full spiritual emergency, with the family believing a demon was involved. So, what started as this simple childish act to avoid the rain and the flies, it just quickly escalates into a full-blown spiritual crisis. Soon, relatives gathered for an emergency prayer meeting. People came together from the neighborhood, all trying to drive the evil spirit out of the house. And this is when the family turns to their secret weapon. In their belief system, Trevor became the key person to pray. He prayed in English, and people believed that because Jesus was often pictured as white, he must also speak English, making English prayers feel especially powerful. His grandmother and mother told him to pray for God to destroy the demon. For a young child, this was terrifying because he was caught between fear, belief, and knowing the real truth of what happened. Trevor feels completely stuck. He knows there isn't really a demon, but he also truly believes his prayers matter. So if he prays the way his family wants, he's terrified he might be asking for his own punishment without realizing it. So what do you do when you're 5 years old and you've been asked to pray for the divine destruction of your own secret poop? He stumbles through the most careful diplomatic prayer of his entire life. Instead of praying for destruction, he carefully changes his words. He basically asks God to calm things down and suggests that maybe this demon situation could be a misunderstanding that deserves mercy instead of punishment. After all the praying, singing, and gathering, the family finally feels at peace. They decide the evil spirit is gone. The crisis is over, and Trevor is safe both from getting in trouble and from his own fear of prayer. But later that night, the story takes a funny turn. Lying in bed, Trevor doesn't feel relieved, he feels guilty. Not because he lied, but because he thinks he wasted God's time with something so small and silly. This story shows something important. Beliefs shape how people see the world. For Trevor and his family, faith, family, and humor weren't just comforting. They were tools that helped them understand life and survive it. Now, we are going to move on to the next chapter to see more of Trevor Noah's stories. See you there.
If you'd like more personalized feedback, writing support, and discussion sessions, they're available with me or with our selected tutors. All the details are here.